similar triangles. So not super different as we talked about. You already have a question?
What?
You already have a question?
No, I forgot. I got the wrong binder because all my binders look the exact same.
Go quick. These aren't that different than what we've been doing. These are just now triangles instead of just quadrilaterals, or like just polygons. And so, number 10, they give us, okay, it kind of looks like that, a picture, and everything is marked for us. And then they say the triangles shown are similar, so they're telling us right away that they're similar. List all the pairs of congruent angles and write the statement of proportionality. So basically, I'm looking at this small triangle here, so I'm looking at STU, and it's similar to triangle, make sure I do this in the right order, VTW. Okay, so they've told me that information. And so then I'm listing all the pairs of congruent angles and then also the proportionality statement for side lengths. So we can see just from the markings right away that angle V and angle S are congruent. Angle T is part of both, so it's congruent to itself, so we would just write angle T and angle T. And then the other angle over here is W and then U. So angle W and angle U are both congruent as well. And we can also see that from up here in the order. This isn't part of the question. I just did this to help us see it because we're going to be using this kind of stuff in a little bit. So then for writing the side lengths, we can either look at the triangles, or if you've written this statement and you're pretty confident you've written it correctly, we can just go off of that. But I'm going to pretend that I don't know if I did that correctly or that I didn't have that. So we're going to have, and you can do either like the smaller one over the bigger one or the bigger one over the smaller one. It doesn't matter. But I would have like this side, so ST over VT. And then I would have TU over TW. And then I would have SU over VW. You gonna make it?
No, man, I'm not even supposed to be.
All right, the next one's for the next like set of problems. It says use the diagram to complete the following. So I'm going to draw the two triangles over here that we're going to be using. All right, so those two triangles what we'll be using for the next few problems. So number 12, it says use the diagram to complete the following. Triangle PQR is similar to blank. Yep, PQR similar to LMN. Triangle LMN goes in that blank. 14, 20 over, they use like a little question mark for telling you what you're finding, is equal to question mark over 12. Just for reference, as you check answers in the back, the answers are done in order. So, like, it's going to start over here, and then the next answer it would give you is this one up here. So just be aware of that. I mean, you should hopefully be able to tell, but I'm just making sure that we're aware of that. So, given what we know about, like, what we've been doing in previous sections, any idea of what would go down here in this bottom one? Yep, so these bottom parts are what match up. And so that means that this bottom one is 15. And then what about this one up here? Yep, so the sides match up, and so one is 12, so this one is Y. When you're doing your homework, if you just want to, like, say do it like this, when you write in your answer, since you're obviously using pencil and you, like, write it in, just circle the values that you're, like, plugging in so that I can see which ones they are. If you want to, like, completely rewrite it, obviously you can do that too, but just to help see it. 16, Y equals blank. So they want us to solve for Y. Any idea how we should do that?
You could use the 1 for 14, but change 20 over 15 to 4 over 3.
Yep, so I can use actually that proportion that we had set up there. So, Jonathan suggested that we go ahead and reduce this. You can, you don't have to, but it will make your life easier. And so we can take out a 5 from both of these things. And so we would get 4 over 3 is equal to Y over 12. And then I just need to multiply both sides by 12. So the 12s over here cancel. And then over here, I can reduce top and bottom again. So 3 goes into 12 4 times. And so I'm left with 4 times 4, which is 16, is equal to Y. Questions about those ones? All right, the next ones give us some pictures, and we kind of briefly mentioned this yesterday when we were looking through the PowerPoint, but this would be a good time for you to brush up and refresh on your rules about parallel lines with our alternate interior angles, corresponding angles, and all of those things back from earlier this year, because this is going to kind of come up and be a part of this section, and you'll see what I mean probably, well, nope, and one that you'll have for homework, you'll see what I mean. Not one that we're doing, but. So these ones say determine whether the triangles can be proven or proved similar. If they are similar, write a similarity statement. If they are not similar, explain why. And one thing you're going to notice is when there's ones that are not, the book kind of like gives like multiple reasons as to why. But when we get to one like that, I'll show you. You don't necessarily need to write like both directions as to why it's not. As long as you have one of the reasons, it's fine. So we have 2 triangles again. In some of them, they're going to give you side lengths. Some of them, they're going to give you angles. This is one where they give us angles. I know this one's hard to read. This one over here is 41, angle F. All right, so they want me to decide if these triangles are similar or not. I don't have side lengths, so I can't use that. But I can look at the angles. What has to be true about the angles of the triangle for them to be similar? Yeah, they would all have to be like, not every angle has to be congruent, but the ones like respective. So like how we see angle B and angle E are both 92. Like, okay, there's a possibility, but I don't know angle C or angle D. So what do I need to do? Find them. How do I do that?
You would add the 2 numbers together and subtract it from 180.
Yep, so 180 minus 92 minus 57, or you can add them together and then subtract that number from that. And what do I get when I subtract these? 31 degrees. So that means that angle C is 31 degrees. So, are these similar? Nope. So this one, angle C and angle F are not congruent to each other. And so right away then and the other thing is if it was upside down or whatever, backwards. 57 obviously also is incongruent to 41, and so that would be our clue right there. So at this point I would stop and I would just say angle C and angle F are not congruent. So not similar. Now, the book would go on to say that you should also find angle D. If we found angle D, what would it be equal to? 47. So, obviously, again, still doesn't match up. But as soon as one doesn't match up, I can stop. Okay? So, if you want to go and write all the things out, like they comment about both of the angles, but it doesn't tell us to solve for them all. So I say once you find something that tells you that they're not similar, just stop. But if we see that they are, then we would need to check the last one, even though obviously that last one would have to match as well. Let's see. 20. So on this one, they tell us that angle S and angle P are congruent, and then they give us side lengths. So on this one, I can't really do a whole lot with angles because all I know is that S and P are congruent. They don't tell me anything else, so I can't really deal with angles. So that means I'm going to need to use side lengths. So how would I go about seeing if they are, like how would I use the side lengths to determine if these are similar or not?
You could do like RT over NQ is equal to SR over DM.
Yep, so I could say like 12 over 15 should be equal to, and we can use any of the sides, but to use the ones that he said, 16 over 20. And then I would just reduce on each side. So this one over here would reduce to 4 over 5. This one over here, is also 4 over 5. If they give you all three sides, go ahead and check the third one also, to make sure, because we don't know for sure. Like 2 may work and the other one may not. So technically the statement would go all the way to say then that it should also be 20 over 26. What is that one reduced to?
I mean, it's really close to 4.
10 over 13.
10 over 13, which is not 4 over 5. So these are not similar. So you can either write something like you can show it mathematically that they don't work. You can write it in letters and show that, but you need to have something. Don't just say yes or no. Like you need to have some kind of work shown to explain why these do or don't work. Now, if I had done like this, I had said 16 over 20 is equal to 20 over 26 to start out with, I wouldn't have needed to check the other side because I would have already found that it wasn't similar. Okay? Once you find one that is not, then you can stop. Same thing with the angles. Otherwise, you should do them all. 22. I'm writing this degree measure outside because I could not fit it in there. All right. What do we think about this one? Oh, I forgot. These are also marked, so these are congruent.
Angle F and angle C don't have the same angle.
So what does that mean?
They're not similar.
Correct. Angle F is not congruent to angle C, so not similar. And if we were to find A, we would also find that it's not congruent to angle D, which is one of the things that the book would go on to tell you to do, is to solve for that one. Anyways. 24. Did my best with this one. These are connected. And that's supposed to be a right angle. Doesn't really look like it, but we're going to pretend that it is. All right, what do you think about this one? Huh? Say it one more time. Sorry, I thought you said A and C are congruent, and that's why I was like, wait, say that one more time? Yeah.
C and C is congruent, and since you have the two angles, the third one should.
Yep, exactly. So we know that this is a right angle. That means that this also needs to be a right angle. I know my picture doesn't look like it, but it's like one continuous line down the side. And so if those two angles are congruent, then the other ones have to be as well. What would the angle measure for angle B be? Like, what is it equal to?
More than 10 degrees.
Oh, wait.
6 degrees.
40 degrees?
50 plus 90 is 140. 180 minus 140 is 40.
Is angle E 90 degrees?
E is 50.
Oh, is A 50?
A is 50. A and E are 50, and then C is 90 on both sides.
Oh.
So then angle D also has to be 40 degrees. And so then we would say, yes, these are similar. And we need to write a similarity statement. So how would I write this? Tell me what order the letters would be.
Angle A is congruent to angle E.
That's not a similarity statement.
Other angle E.
It's not a similarity statement. I just told you. Somebody tell me the correct order for the letters. So what do you think I might be looking for?
I'll put that.
C.
Yes, the triangles. I'm looking for a similarity statement. So how would I write it?
Triangle ABC is congruent to EDC. Yeah.
Yep. And not congruent, similar, which I assume is what you meant.
Yeah.
So if it's a similarity statement, it can't be like congruent as the like if it's for this situation.
Well, I mean, congruent triangles are similar triangles, but similar does not mean congruent.
Okay.
Congruent can obviously mean similar, but that doesn't work.
Square rectangle situation.
Possibly. Depends on the lengths. Could be, might not be. All right, the last stuff in here that we're gonna do, I think, maybe we might look at one of these other ones. You're given that ABCD is a trapezoid. Now, they tell you in here things like that AB is equal to AE equals 6, but they give you that all in the picture, so I'm not going to write all that down for the sake of time. All right, so throughout this problem, they're asking for different things. I'm going to do 33 because otherwise we'll probably be confused about how to do the rest of it. Triangle ABE is similar to triangle blank. So ABE, so then it would have to be CDE.
Oh, yeah.
Has to follow around the same way. So if we don't have that, then the rest of the problem is probably going to be a little bit confusing. Not that you can't see it, but with what they gave us, but it'd probably be a little confusing. So 34, AB over question mark is equal to AE over question mark is equal to BE over question mark. So I need to fill in these things. So for filling out this proportionality statement, AB needs to go over what? DC. And AE needs to go over, huh? What? What is the answer?
I had AC.
CE.
CE.
AC is over CE.
Yeah, we're looking at the two individual triangles. And BE is over DE. So then we're going to kind of use some of this to solve this next part. So 36 is 15 over question mark is equal to 10 over question mark. So what they have done here in this situation, because I'm looking finding the 15 on here, EC is 15. Okay, or in this case CE, however you write it. So what they've done is they've taken my statement from 34 and they've flipped it over. Okay, so I have 15 over, so now I need to find AE. What's AE? 6. And then 10 is DE. And so it's over, again, these are flipped, so over BE. Y. And they just leave it like that. They don't reduce at this point. When we get to like the next question we're solving for y, I'll use this to solve it, and at that point then I would reduce it. But for the initial answer, when they're asking you to fill in the blank, you're only filling in the question mark part. You're not like reducing the whole thing down. So then 38 asks us for what y is equal to. So we can either over here, we can take this equation and we can cross multiply, or I can use the property from that we talked about in, I think it was 8.1, that says I can flip these back over. And so I could say 6 over 15 is equal to y over 10 if I wanted to do it this way.
Yeah, you could do the multiply, right?
Yeah, because then I can multiply. So this over here, I would reduce to make your life easier. Take out a 3. So I'd be left with 2 over 5. Then over here, I can multiply by 10. 10's cancel. And so then I have 10 times 2 over 5. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. So that means that y equals 4. Looking at one thing to see if we need it for the quiz or the test. We're good. Okay, so problems. 9 through 25 odd. I'm not going to make you copy the pictures over today. And then 35 and 37, which go with what we were just doing here. So you have the rest of the time to work. It is Wednesday, so if you don't finish, it's not homework. I mean, it will be homework, just not due tomorrow. It'll be due on Friday if you don't finish, but you need to be working now or I'll make it due at the end of class.